You think ambition makes you free? Let me tell you what it actually makes you: predictable, controllable, profitable. Every morning you wake up chasing goals someone else planted in your head. You call it drive. They call it return on investment. You work 12-hour days and feel proud. You buy courses to become the best version of yourself. You compare yourself to millionaires on Instagram and feel like you're falling behind. And you know what? You're doing exactly what they expect. You're not building your dream. You're renting someone else's treadmill and paying them for the privilege of running on it. This isn't motivation. This is conditioning, and you asked for it yourself. Picture the ideal worker from the system's perspective. What does he look like? He's never satisfied with himself. Finished a project, already thinking about the next one. Got promoted, already eyeing the next level up. Made the money he dreamed of, now it's not enough. He measures his worth in numbers: salary, followers, square footage, ranking position, countries visited. He's constantly comparing himself to others and constantly losing that comparison. He's afraid to stop, because stopping equals stagnation. Because if you're not growing, you're dying. Because rest is for the weak. He calls it motivation, drive, ambition, determination. He's proud that he can't relax. This is what makes him perfect. Why? Because this person is predictable. You always know which button to push. Show him someone more successful, he'll run to catch up. Controllable. He'll push himself harder than any overseer ever could. His inner critic works 24/7 for free. Profitable. He'll buy courses, books, coaching, productivity apps, $8 coffee to optimize himself. He invests in himself, which means into someone else's business. And most importantly, he'll never feel enough. Reached a goal? Great, here's a new bar. Because if you stop and say this is sufficient, you're out of the game. And dropping out is terrifying. What if you become nobody? This isn't motivation. This is addiction to external validation, wrapped in the pretty package of personal growth. And the system knows. As long as you're in this race, you're under control. It wasn't always like this. People didn't wake up thinking, I must constantly grow and achieve. The Protestant work ethic, the 16th to 17th century. Max Weber wrote a whole book about this. The core idea: Protestants believed success in work was a sign of God's favor. Idleness equals sin. Work equals virtue. Sounds harmless? Except it laid the foundation. Your worth equals your productivity. Before this, a farmer worked to feed his family. That's it. Harvest done, you rest. Nobody demanded you scale up or leave your comfort zone. Protestantism changed that. Now it wasn't enough to just work. You had to work as efficiently as possible because it was your moral duty. Industrial Revolution and Scientific Management, early 1900s. Henry Ford and Frederick Taylor perfected this. Taylor literally stood over workers with a stopwatch, measuring every movement. His philosophy: humans are machines that can be optimized. Ford added the assembly line. Now you weren't just working, you were a cog in a system that couldn't stop. You slow down, the whole line stops. Result? Workers lost control of their pace. The system controlled you. And they called it progress. The self-help industry, mid-20th century. 1950s to 60s, boom of self-help books. Think and Grow Rich, How to Win Friends and Influence People. The message shifted. Before, work hard and God, society will reward you. Now, if you're not successful, it's your fault. You're not trying hard enough, not thinking positively enough, not ambitious enough. The problem isn't the system. The problem is you. This is genius, because now people blame themselves, not the system squeezing them dry. Social media, 2010s today. Then came Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. Now you're not comparing yourself to your neighbors or coworkers. You're comparing yourself to millions of people simultaneously, all showing only their highlight reels. 20-year-old millionaire, 25-year-old startup CEO, influencer working from anywhere. The algorithms deliberately feed you these people. Why? Because it triggers envy and dissatisfaction. And dissatisfied people consume more content, click more ads, buy more courses on how to become successful. Before, you could say, I'm not a billionaire, but I'm doing fine. Now your comparison group is the entire world, and you're always behind. The result: over 400 years, you've been taught your value equals your output. If you're not successful, you're broken. Stopping equals stagnation. There's always someone better, and you must catch up. And now you push yourself, for free, voluntarily, proudly. You call it ambition. They call it perfect conditioning. Now that you understand where this came from, let's look at who's making money off it right now. Because the cult of ambition isn't just a cultural phenomenon, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Mechanism 1: corporations and hustle culture. We're not just a company, we're a family. We're changing the world. We're looking for passionate people. We want you working 60 hours a week for 40 hours of pay, and we want you to feel privileged doing it. Look at startup culture. Free food in the office, ping pong tables, beer on Fridays. Sounds great? Now think, why would a company make the office so comfortable that you don't want to go home? Right, so you don't go home. Free dinner isn't care, it's an investment in your extra 3 hours of work. And here's the genius part. They sell it as a perk. You're happy to work late because you're doing something meaningful. Exploitation used to look like an overseer with a whip. Now it looks like ping pong and a company mission statement. Mechanism 2: coaches and productivity gurus. You're not living up to your potential, but I can help you. Just $2,000 for the course. Let's be honest. Most personal growth coaches sell you a solution to a problem they created. First, they tell you you're not productive enough, that you're wasting time, that you could be earning 10x more if you just unlocked your potential. Then they sell you a course that teaches you to work even more. And here's what's interesting. You never finish this self-improvement work. Completed one course? Great, here's the next level. Because there's always something else you need to fix about yourself. This isn't education, it's a subscription to self-dissatisfaction. Mechanism 3: social platforms and algorithms. LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, they all run on one principle. The longer you scroll, the more they earn. And what keeps you scrolling? Content that triggers emotions. And two emotions work best: envy and fear of falling behind. The algorithm feeds you people your age making more money, people who made it earlier than you, people who look happier, more successful, more free. Why? Because it triggers you. You feel, fuck, I'm falling behind. And what do? You consume more content. Search for how they did it. Click on course ads, buy books, subscribe to coaches. The platform made money, the coach made money, the advertiser made money, and you got another dose of dissatisfaction with yourself. Mechanism 4: success porn and survivor bias. You see success stories. I dropped out of college and made $1 million in a year. What you don't see, thousands of people who dropped out and failed. Their stories don't get posted on Instagram. This is called survivor bias. You only see the survivors, and you think, if they could do it, I can too. I just need to try harder. But the statistics aren't on your side. For every successful dropout, there are hundreds you'll never hear about. And the media keeps selling you exceptions as the rule, because exceptions sell better. The bottom line: this entire system is built so that you constantly feel insufficient. Look for solutions by buying something: courses, books, coaching, apps. Never reach the point of enough. This isn't a conspiracy, it's just economic logic. A person satisfied with themselves buys nothing. A dissatisfied person buys constantly. Your ambition is their business model. Okay, now the most uncomfortable part. Because it's easy to say the system is bad, corporations manipulate, coaches profit. But here's the question you don't want to ask yourself. Why did you believe it? Nobody forced you to buy that course. Nobody held a gun to your head when you worked until midnight for the 5th time this week. Nobody ordered you to compare yourself to successful people on social media. You did it yourself. Why? Because ambition masks insecurity. Let's be honest. When you set another ambitious goal, what are you actually thinking? Once I achieve this, then I'll be good enough. Once I earn this much, then I'll prove I'm worth something. Once I get that position, then I'll finally feel confident. No, you won't. Because the problem isn't lack of achievements. The problem is you're seeking external validation of your worth. And external validation is never enough. Reached your goal? Great. The satisfaction lasts 48 hours. Then the emptiness returns, and a new goal to fill it. This isn't ambition. This is trying to patch a hole in your self-worth with achievements. And the system knows this. It didn't create your insecurity, but it's gotten really fucking good at profiting from it. How to tell real interest from imposed ambition. Here's a simple test. Imagine you've achieved your goal, made $1 million, got the promotion, hit 100K followers. Now imagine nobody finds out. Not friends, not family, not followers, no social media posts, no recognition. Do you still want it? If yes, maybe it's genuinely yours. If no, congratulations, you're chasing approval, not the goal. What do you actually want? Here's the most uncomfortable question. Remove all the shoulds. Remove all the musts. Remove what your parents expect, what society expects, what Instagram expects. What's left? For most people, the answer sounds something like, I want to not stress, do things that interest me, spend time with people who matter, not feel constant pressure. But this sounds too simple, too unscalable, too unproductive. So you tell yourself, no, that's not a goal. That's laziness. I need something bigger. And then you wonder why achievements don't bring happiness. The harsh truth. Maybe you don't need ambitious goals. Maybe you just need a normal life without the constant feeling that you're not good enough. But admitting this is scary, because if you exit the race, what then? Who are you without your ambitions? And here's where the trap closes. You're not afraid to stop because you actually need more. You're afraid because your entire identity is built on striving for more. Remove that, and who are you? The question isn't whether to achieve or not. The question is, are you chasing your goals or running from the fear of being insufficient? Because if it's the latter, you'll never stop, and you'll never be satisfied. And the system will keep profiting from your insecurity. So what now? Quit everything and go live in the woods? No, because that's also running away. Here's the thing. There's no perfect solution. You live in a system that requires money. Food costs money. Housing costs money. Healthcare costs money. You can't just exit the game and just exist. Well, you can, but you'll be hungry. So here's what you actually have. 3 compromises, all imperfect. Option 1, monetize your passion. Found something you're genuinely interested in? Try making money from it. Problem, the moment a hobby becomes income, it stops being a hobby. Clients appear. Deadlines appear. You have to do what sells, not what you want. Playing guitar for yourself? That's joy. Playing guitar to pay rent? That's work. Sometimes it works out. More often, it kills what you loved. Option 2, split your life. Work for money, that's one thing. Your real life, that's another. Sell 8 hours of your time. The rest is yours. Sounds like defeat? Maybe, but for most people, this is the most honest option. Problem, work drains energy. By evening, you're spent. Weakens, you recover. The cycle repeats. But at least you're not lying to yourself that you're doing something meaningful while a corporation extracts profit from you. Option 3, minimalism. Lower your standards. Live simpler. Earn less, work less. Small apartment instead of big. Used car instead of new. Fewer things, more time. Problem. Society will look at you like a failure because success is measured by house size and bank balance. Plus, this only works if you're genuinely ready to give up status symbols, not tolerate their absence, actually not need them. All three options are compromises between money, time, energy, and meaning. There's no ideal. The question isn't which option is right. The question is, which compromise are you willing to accept? Because if you keep believing just a little more and everything will work out perfectly, you stay trapped. Final truth. The system won't break. The cult of ambition isn't going anywhere. Corporations will keep selling you the dream. Coaches will keep selling you potential. Social media will keep feeding you other people's success. You won't change the system, but you can stop being its fuel. You can admit you don't need to achieve to be enough. You can choose to live instead of prove. Or you can keep running. That's also a choice. Just remember, this race has no finish line. Decide for yourself. If this hit different, there's more coming. Subscribe to Human Nature Archive. Next video drops soon.